Hello everyone, welcome to Horror and Monster Collectibles, where today we are going to be taking a look at Star Ace's Count Dracula. Now this is from the movie Scars of Dracula. This is their first in a assumed line of quarter scale statues for them. Typically they do 1/6 figures. Actually their 1/6 Dracula figure is very nicely done and comes at a great price point. So I'm curious to see how this guy has turned out, being their first statue attempt. And here is a quick shot of how he comes packaged. He is packed well, surrounded by foam. And they did a good job with the packaging. Real quick look at the bottom of the base here. It is like a felt material. There is no edition size or other markings on here. On the brown shipper box, it said number 20 on there, but it didn't say out of how many. So we don't know how many are being made. I definitely don't like collectibles with open edition sizes at all. Real quick before I get the statue assembled, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these details up close. Now as far as the base is concerned, again I went over the bottom, but the stonework here seems well done. The paint app seems nice. The Scars of Dracula, they had intended like a splattered blood paint app on here, but it just doesn't translate very well. And personally, I'd rather them not use Scars of Dracula. I wish that they just said Dracula or nothing at all. There was a lot of Dracula movies that Christopher Lee was in, and this is probably not my favorite. Not a horrible movie, but I guess that they just secured the license to this particular movie. But I wish that they had just not put the movie name on the base. Just could have been fine with just Dracula. Set that aside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt here. And the head sculpt kind of leaves a bit to be desired. Just kind of glancing at it. It shows up much better in this video than what I am looking at. What I am looking at is pretty bad. Let's see if we can kind of get them in focus a bit more. Get some up close shots. The likeness is not of Lee. They pretty much nailed the likeness on the 6 scale figure, so I don't understand what happened here. But it's just pretty bad, to be honest with you. Again, this camera is doing it favors because it's just not good. It does not look like Lee. They were supposed to do some work to fix the sculpt because of complaints. They said that they were going to, but it does not look like they did at all. It's a real shame. It's going to make it really hard to get excited about this statue. And here is the bottom of the sculpt, where it fits down into the body. Set this aside. Let's look at the hands. The hands here, this is light. This is not a polystone. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a light resin or something. There's a magnet down in here, which seems pretty deep pocket. I don't know why they made it so deep. But the paint app on here is okay. There is actually some light vein work on here as far as paint app. The sculpt is there, but I don't know if the camera is picking it up or not, but the hand is actually well done. They got nice gloss on the fingernails. Come back through here. So yeah, let's take a look at the other hand. More the same, but without the ring. And here is a look at the instruction sheet that Star Ace includes with the statue. So I got Dracula together, and I am not 100% confident in saying this, but I'm pretty close in the fact that this may be the most horrible statue that I've ever come across. In the way that it gets put together, in the way that it's executed, it is quite terrible. I will not be keeping this. Right now I can just tell anybody that listens to this video, run away from this statue. They need to stick with 6 scale figures because this thing is terrible. Why is it terrible? Well, we'll go into detail real quick. Let me spin it around and we'll start dissecting this awful, awful statue. The statue is 23 inches tall in total, including the base to the top of the head. Not really sure how to go about this review, so what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards. I'll take him apart and we'll deconstruct him and go over things that way since he is already together, and I will be taking him apart to send him back. The cape is nice. It is made out of a nice material. It's got a nice faux silk lining to it. It has a wire frame that goes all the way around that lets you bend and shape the cape however you desire, which is very nice. So the cape is well done. We'll come down through here. It is a bit hard to get the cape, even with the wire frame, to manipulate it to where it looks like the hand is naturally holding the cape kind of back and in. So I'll just say that much about the cape. Otherwise, the cape is pretty good. Now that the cape is gone, let's find somewhere to focus our attention to. Let's start with the awkward pose of the body. Even with the cape, the way his legs are shaped and kind of come in is just odd. And not very desirable. You can kind of see it from that angle. It just looks very, very weird. Also, the figure is quite loose on the base. As you can see, we'll try to get back here a little bit, but it just wobbles on the base quite a lot. Not just a little bit, but a lot. Oh, well, I tell you what, I'm just kind of frustrated right now. Now, because the hands have such a long point up here of contact, you really have to work at getting this hand up in through the sleeve. The white button-down shirt has a tight sleeve and the hand barely fits through the sleeve. We'll go ahead and pull this thing out. Also, when it's in there, this is in there and it's loose. We'll go ahead and pull it out so you can see, but it is, the sleeve is up in here, but it is a pain in the butt to get that in there. And we'll go ahead and take a look at his other hand. This was much easier to place in. Let's see if I can get it out. That was a lot easier. The other one is pretty deep in there, and it is a royal pain in the butt to get that right hand up in there while leaving the sleeve out. Again, the width of the wrist is about the same as the white sleeve, so you really have to play hell in getting that up in there. Now let's tackle the head. The head is, again, a royal pain in the butt to get in. This still needs some futzing with. I gave up on it just because it's not a piece I want to keep. I'm sorry guys if it's not perfect for the review, but screw that. We'll go ahead and pull this head out if I can, which just comes out without much of a fuss, but let me tell you something. Guys, this thing is a pain in the ass. You can see how much material is around here, and getting that neck down into this groove is a nightmare. His little ascot here has a rubber band that goes around it, and it just pinches this tight. So getting it sat down without pinching any of his white button-down shirt is nearly impossible. What I did was I actually took off the ascot and put the rubber band around his neck, and then popped the collar once the neck was set, popped the collar and rolled the rubber band down. That seemed to work okay, but it was still a pain in the butt. And then feeding this down through his chest area without it getting wrinkled was a pain. You're only able to get up in here so much and manipulate it and get it shifted the way that it should be. But fail on those parts. I will say though that the jacket itself, the clothing itself, seems nicely done. The buttons seem nice, although they seem a little bit on the big side. They do not come undone. I'm not sure exactly how this jacket's on here, but these are stitched. His inside shirt though has a Velcro seam in which you can kind of open it up to try to get the head in there. But again, guys, oof, nightmare city. Now, as far as the left arm, the right arm is fixed in place. Left arm has a socket on here. I am not sure exactly why. They say it's for posability, I assume. I think it may be more just for breakage so it doesn't break off, but you can't really get to this joint at all. Again, this whole outfit is already together, but the arm kind of swings down here. Problem is, it doesn't really make any sense when he has his cape on or in any other way. Nobody has their arm like that ever. So if you go to put it up in that position, there is a socket in here, and you have to have it basically at a 90-degree angle, and it kind of fits into place. The problem is getting the arm into the socket here without pinching any of his inner shirt, which again is more of a royal pain in the butt. So yeah, final thoughts on this guy. The tailoring is actually well done. Buttons seem to be a bit on the big side. The sculpt is off. They never fixed it. It doesn't really look like Lee. They did a much better job on their 6-scale figure. The assembly of this guy is a total nightmare, and a bunch of it makes 0 sense. His pose is awkward, the way his legs kind of come in. The figure doesn't fit well on the base. It's loose. There is no edition size, so it is an open edition. In general, I would say that Star Ace failed big time on this first attempt at a statue. It is really quite bad. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them. Feel free to like and subscribe, and click the bell for notifications for new videos. And I will see you guys next time. Hopefully I will be doing a review for something that I actually like. Wow, terrible.